Hello and welcome to Rick's RC Flying Channel. This is episode 16 of the Sweet and Low build. Now the fuselage has been totally fiberglass with 3/4 ounce fiberglass cloth, and I used epoxy resin. Once that was all completed, the entire fuselage got sanded with 320 grit sandpaper, and for all intents and purposes, everything felt real good and smooth, and it was, ready to be primed. However, out of habit, I couldn't resist going around and candling it. And what you do is you just take a light, of course, and hold it at different angles and just go over the entire surface, looking for any little imperfections. And that's what the little green tape marks are, where I just found little small things that I wanted to address before putting the primer on. And everybody has their personal standard on how far they like to go with the finishing, which is perfectly fine. And it also depends on the purpose of the airplane, sport airplane, scale, super scale, whatever. And I even have my buddies kind of say, geez, you spend a lot of time on the bottom of the airplane. Well, quite frankly, when you put this airplane in a cradle to mount the wing, you're going to see the bottom of the airplane. So, and I had a habit of all my builds, I treat all sides, top and bottom, and the sides equally in finishing. So the whole airplane looks the same no matter where you're looking at it. Anyways, I'll address these little green spots, and then it'll be sanded with 400 grit paper. And then I'll be taking a damp cloth and thoroughly removing all the dust. I'll even give it, with my compressor, an air blast. And then I'll even use a tack cloth. Really, try to get as much of that dust off the airplane. And then it'll be ready to be primed.
Now I'm going to mix my epoxy filler, and I use Blaze glaze, and it, by the way, comes in a 24-ounce container, a little over 700 milliliters, which usually lasts me a couple of years. Because you use rather small amounts, it's applied in a thin fashion. You can see here's how little of the hardener I'm using, and then I have the filler on the mixing plate, which quite frankly is even too much for what I'm doing. It starts off in a light green color, and as soon as it turns light blue, you can start applying it. And you only have barely 10 minutes to work with it, but then after that, you can go ahead and start sanding it. When you identify areas you want to address and then you go back to it to start the filling process, good luck trying to find all the spots again. So I use markers such as the green tape, and that saves considerable time for me to address all the spots. Again, because epoxy filler, you are limited with the working time. Now, I like using epoxy fillers because the whole fuselage has been treated with fiberglass and epoxy resin, which creates a very hard, durable surface. So with an epoxy filler, you're maintaining that hard, durable surface. Now, you have options to use many other types of fillers, of course, and some are water-based and, many other types of wood fillers, although they tend to be softer. So, that kind of undermines the whole idea of treating the balsa wood to make it hard and durable, and then you use a softer type filler. But then again, it's, a modeler's choice.
I just want to show you something here. Now, I've applied Blaze glaze, in other words, my filler here, which is an epoxy filler. And, it's has a few little ridges in it, and there's obviously a certain aspect of thickness to it. Now, because this is fiberglass and, with epoxy resin, you can actually use 80 grit sandpaper to knock it down, and it saves you a lot of time. Now, if this wasn't treated with fiberglass, it'd be pretty risky using 80 grit paper trying to knock your filler down because the balsa wood is soft. But because now we have such a hard layer, you can take 80 grit paper And right now, it feels very smooth. And I basically knocked it right down. And then what you can do is, of course, take other types of sandpaper. And like this here happens to be 320. So the thing is, that's another advantage when you fiberglass and use epoxy resin to treat the wood. When it comes to finishing it, um, it gives you the advantage of not worrying about damaging the balsa wood while you're preparing it for a paint job. So as you saw, I used 80 grit paper. I knocked it right down. I took 320 paper and really went over it. And the only thing that remains is where the actual void is. And works really well, and it goes quickly. It saves you a lot of time.
So now I'm beginning the priming application. I'm using a siphon gun here, where in other words the cup's on the bottom. It's just sort of my general go-to spray gun for non-finesse type spray painting such as primer. And a good habit to get into is to do the edges first and then coat the rest of the surface. Keep the coatings very thin and light. This will help prevent any runs. It also allows it to start tacking up faster, and that'll allow the subsequent coats to be applied a little heavier. And because it's got a tacky texture to it, it helps prevent the paint from running. Now, when it comes to doing the colored final application of paint, I use a different gun. I use a gravity-fed spray gun, which is a high volume, low pressure, and that is my preferred choice of gun when it comes to the final painting of the model. Now, the primer that I'm using is actually a two-part epoxy primer. Also, the final paint application is also going to be an epoxy paint, and I use a product called Class Coat, which is extremely durable. It's impervious to gas, glow fuel, just about anything you could throw at it. Makes for a very hard, durable, fade-resistant surface. Now, when coating the surfaces, you ultimately are trying to get a solid white look to it. And remember too, a lot of the primer will be sanded off as we prepare it for the final paint coatings. I kind of lucked in with the weather, warmer temperatures and the sun shining. And so, it's something that can easily be done outside. Now, of course, it's just primer. It's not the final finish, so I wasn't too worried about doing it on the outside. The final paint coatings will be done in a spray booth. And here we have the fuselage, which was also primed. So that completed the painting for the day, and the gun was disassembled and all the parts thoroughly cleaned. This is particularly important with epoxy paint. So now these components will be sanded with 400 grit paper, and then it'll be ready for the final painting. So now we're going to prime the wing of the airplane. And as I mentioned before, it's a good idea to do the edges first. So I'm starting off with a wingtip, and now I'm going to do the leading edge and all the way around. And once that's done, we'll be spraying the entire top surface. And I use two patterns. We'll be going lengthwise, and then we'll be spraying across, in other words, across the chord of the wing. Now the spray gun I'm using here is a high volume, low pressure, gravity fed spray gun. You'll notice the cup is on the top, and it's actually my preferred spray gun, particularly when it comes to do the final painting. Now the bottom of the wing was primed on the previous day, more than 24 hours ago, and that's why it's just sitting on a table and I'm spraying the top. And I don't mind really doing this when I'm just working with primer, although when it's time to do the final painting, the wing will be suspended and the entire wing will be sprayed at once. Now the weather has changed, and that's why I'm spraying the wing in an enclosed environment. This is actually a spray booth that I'm in the process of putting together, and it'll eventually have filtered air coming in and the appropriate exhaust fans. And this is where the final painting will take place as well. Now in the video that will have the final painting process, I'll also go over the two different types of guns, gravity fed and suction fed, and how to set and adjust these guns. And we'll also go over some of the pitfalls that can occur during spray painting and how to avoid them. Also in the next video, we'll take a look at the technique when spray painting. For example, here you'll see that you try to avoid moving your wrist. You want to keep a straight arm and just move the arm. And you want to keep an equal distance right across your object. And you want to spray past the edges. And you can also, stop the spraying once you pass the outer perimeter edge of the object. But we'll get into this a little more when we do the final painting where it is particularly critical.
So I've been fortunate to get the mild weather so I could do the priming on the Sweet and Low. So the fuselage has been primed and all the flight controls. All the prep work has really paid off because there was no surprises. The primer here on the fuselage and flight controls received its sanding. I'm just waiting for the epoxy to cure on the wing, and then I'll be sanding the wing with 320 and 400 grit sandpaper. Once that's completed, the whole airplane would be assembled and virtually all the components, everything hooked up, and I'll be checking the functionality of everything. The engine will be reinstalled, and then the cowling will receive all the necessary cutouts. The front will be opened up and the exhaust system. Once that's all done, then I'll be doing a prepping of the cowling and then priming it. Also, another project, of course, is going to be the cockpit. Now, this standoff scale airplane of the Endecker is going to follow the premise of an actual home-built experimental airplane of the Endecker. There's quite a few replicas out there. So the cockpit is kind of going to reflect a little more of a modern vibe to it in terms of instruments and some of the components. The nice thing is that it's a module, so once it's completed, whenever that is, it takes less than 3 minutes to install in the airplane. And quite often I do this modular thing with cockpits because you can go ahead and maiden the airplane, and then at any time, even if the cockpit's not finished, you can always install it at a later date. I hope to have it finished before the maiden. So, if you have any questions or comments, I always welcome them. If you like the video, please select like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.